We're ready to roll. She's ready. You're in.
I'm it. Waiting on the thumbs up from Stacy.
We're ready whenever you are.
Okay. I'd like to call the October 11th Planning Commission meeting to order. We would start off with a word of prayer.
Let's all pray. Dear Lord, we just thank you for this day. We thank you for all the blessings that we have in our great country and the freedoms that we have. Lord, we thank you for this beautiful fall day and the great weather we have to get the crops out, Lord. And we just thank you so much for the bounty that you've provided. Lord, as we continue on today, we just lift up the military and the policemen and everybody that helps protect us each and every day. Lord, we just ask that you will be with them and touch them in their lives and protect them each and every day as they protect us. Lord, today as we meet today, we just pray that you will help us make great decisions for the county. This we ask in your name. Amen.
All right, stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Stacy, you want to do roll call?
Sure will. Mark Gary,
Here.
Denise Spooner, Jerry Alexander,
Here.
Lindsey Brown, Tom Shepard,
Here.
John Richwine, John Zimmerman,
Here.
Corey Bolander,
Here.
and Wes Likens. Thank you.
Okay. We need to entertain a motion to add or amend the agenda to add the August 31st special meeting minutes to the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. So everyone should have the September 13th minutes in front of them and also the August 31st minutes. Do we need to approve them one at a time, or can we take them both? Okay.
Even though I wasn't there on one of the meetings.
Right, that's probably the reason we need to go separate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mark left. Still have four. Probably wouldn't have to be five.
I move that we approve the minutes on August 31st.
I second. Okay. I have a motion and a second. We just do
All in favor.
Voice vote.
yeah. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. Minutes approved. Now the September 13th meeting minutes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve September,
September.
the minutes for
Yeah.
September, no, I wasn't there.
Oh, I'll make the motion to accept the minutes on September 13th.
Since Mark wasn't here, we'll only have four votes, so Stacy should correct that on the agenda.
Okay.
Okay.
Four votes.
Okay. Yeah.
And then I also just have one correction as well. At our last meeting, Lindsay asked that the minutes be corrected from the August 13th meeting because he was not here. He actually was here for that meeting. He wasn't here for the August 9th. So there is no change to the meeting minutes from last.
Right.
From last meeting, I should say. Sorry.
Okay. So we will just we'll hold the minutes for September 13th until November. So Larry, I will turn it over to you.
Okay, under old business, petition 2022Z006, and 2022Z007 have been tabled. That's Madison Land Development. They have a rezone from Ag to R3 and MR for proposed residential development in the Ag Zone District. They've requested a continuance until November. They met with me and they said they were going to go back to the drawing board, so I don't know. I haven't heard anything other than they requested the continuance.
Okay.
On the Kelly Drew's matter, the newspaper ad did not get placed in time, so he has requested continuance until November. The next petition is 22. Oh,
The commission would need to vote to approve.
Oh, okay.
this continuous request.
thank you.
Stacy, what's the date for the November meeting?
It is November 7th. It is on a Monday. It's at 9 a.m. Election day is Tuesday the 8th, so we had to move it to Monday the 7th.
Okay. Do we need to do one at a time?
Yeah.
Okay. So I would entertain a motion to continue those two petitions.
Second.
Who made the first motion?
We need a motion.
I make a motion that we table the first petition there, the Madison Land Development, to November 7th.
I'll second that.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. Motion passes.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion on petition 2022Z010, Kelly Drews, to the November 7th meeting date.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to continue that petition to November 7th. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. Motion passes.
Okay, the next item is petition number 227-008. The petitioner is John Spears. The address is 3574 East State Road 236, Anderson in Union Township. This is a rezone from Conservation Residential CR to Agriculture AG. Just as a note, the original application was for a rezone to local commercial. It was done prior to me coming in. When I reviewed everything, I felt, in my opinion, it was more appropriate for this to be rezoned to agriculture. Essentially, they could get the same outcome, which is special use to do what they want to do. And in my opinion, the zoning would be less of a change from the current zoning to agriculture than from the current zoning to a local commercial type activity. So that was the reason for the change, if you notice it. So they are requesting a change for their conservation residential to agriculture. So basically, as stated in the proposal, Mr. Spears is rezoning his property to ag, and he would subsequently have to get from the Board of Zoning Appeals a special use approval to operate his business. As stated in his letter of intent that is in the file, he's had a business there for, I think, about 10 years. I'm not sure the exact amount of time, but it started as a garage business. He didn't really know he needed to have a home occupation or any kind of license or anything to do with business. And so he started this business, Spirit Tech Fuel Injection Systems, which has been sold. Holly does not own the land or the building that the business is going to be operating on. It will be on Mr. Spears' property. In their letter of intent, they stated the operation would be for the time being. So that's kind of, that would be kind of the job of the Board of Zoning Appeals to state what that means as far as, if you get to X number of employees, you're going to have to do something else when you get too big for your pants or whatever you want to call it. So I did go out to the business. It's, you just drive in, it's very quiet. It's pretty unbelievable. You walk into the garage and these guys are sitting over these big motors, and the motors aren't doing anything. I think they're just like a drawing table, so they're sitting there putting together these harnesses. So it's a really cool operation. I think it's exciting for Madison County that this business is growing, and the bottom line is, I don't see any problems with it, and our staff recommendation is to approve the rezone request and recommend forwarding this to the Board of Commissioners with a favorable recommendation. The proposed use appears to be consistent with the comprehensive plan, is consistent with the zoning code, and presents the opportunity for growth of a business that may eventually be a contributor to the Madison County economy. So if the commission would like to approve this rezone or forward it to the commissioners, all future improvements will be required to get a special use approval from the Board of Zoning Appeal and comply with the development standards of the Ag District and any other applicable standards of our code as it goes forward. So that's the staff report.
Looks like it's agricultural ground around there.
Yeah, there's a shed, like a, what do you call it, porta shed? Not porta shed. I don't know, I'm going mind blank, but, you know, yard barn. There's a yard barn place about, what, 200 yards or half a mile down the road, isn't there?
Yeah.
So there's some commercial activity along there, but generally it's agriculture, low impact residential, which is you know, really the agriculture and conservation zones are pretty similar, which is why I recommended they go that way, because there really isn't much difference in the regulations or anything else.
Wonder why it got rezoned to begin with. Or got zoned that way to begin with, so I mean, what's...
Oh, it's conservation. Stacy, pull up the zoning map. It's conservation and residential.
all the way around it.
All around it, yeah.
conservation.
I think it was probably rezoned after the comprehensive plan was
That's what I
done
was
back in
thinking.
2002. So this is a pretty good swath, and then around it's agriculture, and that's in your handout as well, although mine is not color, so you can't see it.
Anyone else have any questions for Larry? Does the petitioner have something that they'd like to say?
Sign in.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Cook. I'm the attorney for Mr. Spears. Mr. Spears is here as well if you have any questions for him. Please sign in real quick. All right. Really, we're just here to answer any questions that you may have. I think Mr. Strange had a good kind of summary of the situation out at Mr. Spears' property. If you look at the map, it's kind of small right now, but he does live on the property. His house is up front. The driveway goes back. It's all paved back to his quite large extra garage. It's about 4,500 square feet, something in that range. All of the businesses encompassed in that garage back there. I can't remember how many employees he has, but it's a few, maybe.
6 full-time or part-time?
6 full-time, 1 part-time.
So 6 full-time, 1 part-time, so put that on the record there. It's been that way for at least 10 years. They just recently sold to Holley, which is a big performance products automobile company. They don't intend on moving or increasing the size of the operation in the meantime. If they do, they would probably move from this location, to be quite frank with you on that. They want it to stay at Mr. Spears' location for right now because he is still running it. So once either he steps away or they grow a little bit more, they'd probably move it out of that location anyway. So we are in favor of the ag designation. Like Mr. Strange said, I think a local commercial is what was originally proposed to us. We're fine with that as well. But ag probably does make a little more sense because it's less of an impact on the rest of the area around there. Don't have to worry about if somebody were to buy this from Mr. Spears, if they were to change it later or something like that. So, do you have any questions for us?
How much traffic goes in and out of there?
John, go ahead and come up here so you can get on the mic.
No, the traffic in and out is just drop off of supplies and things by box trucks and things like that. And then other than that, it's just the employees' cars. And
Yeah.
Looks
that
like
type
you
of
have
thing.
plenty of parking for
Plenty of parking.
the employees.
There is plenty of parking, yes. Yeah.
Can you state your name for the record, please?
John Spears.
Thank you.
So you don't have a lot of customers coming in and out of there then? Oh, that's good.
No, it's basically an internet-based
Yeah.
business,
Yeah.
so it's not
Shipped in and out.
yes, it's not a storefront type thing.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you.
Anyone else have any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Does anyone from the audience have a desire to speak on this? Okay.
Corey, could you make a note that Lindsay's here?
Yeah, Stacy, if you would make a note that Lindsay came into the meeting.
Got it down. Thank you.
All right, well, nobody else has anything to speak about on this, then I would entertain a motion.
Don't forget the commission, this is a motion for a recommendation to the Board of Commissioners, favorable, unfavorable, or neutral. And I do believe that our planning directors provided you with potential findings on this, is that correct? Yes, straight. So you can adopt those as part of your motion, or make your own, or not. Just for review.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we accept petition 22-Z-008 as a recommendation to the commissioners and including the findings of facts that's been presented.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay,
Hold on. I think I made a mistake. I did not do the findings of fact.
Okay, for the
Here, because it's going
the
to
zoning change.
Zoning.
Very good.
I did the
Sorry, Larry, that's my fault.
No, that's not your fault.
so do we need to
I
write our
move-
own then?
Yeah, I admit my to not include the findings of facts.
So you need a second on that, Jim? So I'll second that.
All right. Call for the vote. So we'll just do a voice vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. Motion passes.
Okay, let's push back
So when will it be coming to the BZA? That'll be December?
They go in front of the commissioners
I know.
in November, and then
Yeah.
probably, they could go in front of the BZA later that month, because they don't, the BZA.
That's right, that's the first Monday, so we're the fourth Tuesday, so yeah, we can still do it the same month, in November. Okay.
That kind of up to filing and all that stuff.
Right. And then noticing, yeah, get all that in there.
Yeah.
It'll be either November, or December.
Yeah, I'm thinking that they would want to do it in December so that it's not like they're filing with the assumption they're going to get, the commissioners are going to approve it.
Right.
I would recommend they wait and just
Yeah. do
do it after the commissioner's approval.
They're still continuing business as is, right?
Yes. Yeah, they're,
It's not gonna hurt us to,
Right. Okay.
well, thank you very much.
All right.
Okay, the next petition number is 22W005. This is Richard and Lana Evans. Location is 2320 East US 36 Marklettville. They are requesting a waiver to reduce the required lot width from 200 feet to approximately 170 feet. The statement of intent is, Stacy, why don't you blow that property up or make it larger?
Okay.
Kind of down at down at there. So, the Evans own three tracts of, 3 parcels of property at this location. There's a house on each one. The parent house, the original house is the one in the middle, and then the house to the east was the first primary split off the property. And then there's the second house to the west. I'm not sure if that was a split or not. And then what they want to do is create a new lot for the middle house, a 2-acre lot, and have their daughter will reside, and she currently resides there now. To do that, they also want to keep the property to the north as part of their holdings to hopefully split that off for kids in the future. They have up to 2 more splits, I believe, available on up to 3. They have 3 more splits available on that remaining property, if they want to do it. And they may or may not. But right now, the petition is for a 2-acre piece in that, on the southern part, so it's for their daughter to live in. So, and to do that, they need 200 feet of minimum lot width, and there's only about 170 feet there for them. So they're requesting a waiver from the 200-foot minimum lot width to 170 feet. I went out and looked at the property. Everything, it seems in good shape. I don't see that there would be any major impact, negative impact from this at all. So staff's recommendation is approval. The general rural residential character of the area will be maintained. If the commission would like to approve this rezone, all future improvements to the site will be required to comply with this waiver, which is development standards of the Ag Zoning District and any other applicable standards of the Madison Land Use County and Development Code. Findings of fact were prepared for this waiver, and that's my presentation. I'll entertain any questions.
It's getting pretty close to that building on the east. Stace, can you move that little block right there? Thank you. Yeah, see that, go on down, see that building right there? It's right along the property line. It's gonna be really close there. Is that gonna be a problem on setback or anything?
That lot is, the lot on the furthest to the east.
Yeah.
Was there, it's mini platted, it was there prior to July 15th of '02. So the lines for the proposed lot are not drawn in on that map.
Yeah, but we have it. We have the line.
Yeah, okay.
But I just didn't know whether that would be a problem with the setback if that proposes a setback problem with that building. On the east.
The 2 white squares north of the property line?
No,
the building's up in the middle.
right. Go up, Stacy. No, down, right there.
That's a car.
No, to the right. To the right.
Well, but those property lines.
Right there, I know. That building right there. See how close that is to the lot?
Yeah, but that property line won't change.
Well, I know it won't, but when you have the other lot on this side, is it gonna be within the setback?
See, Stacy, see how long that is? I think the setback there is 15 feet. Side setback, 10 or 15 feet.
It'd be 25 is the new ordinance, but if that was built prior to July 15th of '02, it would be grandfathered in, and that property line was there prior to July 15th of '02 as well, and you can't, I mean, the parcel right now is, as it stands, was like that July 15th of '02, that close to the property. So at that time, the commissioners went in and said every lot that is there is considered a parent tract and is illegal. whether it be legal, non-conforming.
But it'll be more than 25 feet from the proposed boundary line that we have on our sheet. You don't have there, but.
I would say, I would think that we could work with the surveyors.
Yeah,
That
but
they-
that's
this-
not a proposed line. That's an existing.
Those are the
Well,
existing.
no, that we have the proposed line. What I'm saying is this proposed line, is it gonna
It's
be
about
within
10
that
feet.
25 feet? Huh?
If I compare it to what they,
This, okay,
See right
they
here,
changed
from
that.
this orange line
The
to right
orange
here.
line, is not going to be, they're going to go with the original line, with the gray line. Because we told them, they were leaving a little strip right there
Right.
to get back here. Well, they have an easement that they've had for, since
Going the other
97,
way.
I think, going
I
this
saw
way
that.
to get to the farm. So I'm sorry, this one,
Should be over.
that
So
orange
this,
line.
our
come
orange line
over
should be over on
on
the
the
other.
gray line.
On the gray line.
Yes. Yeah,
Okay,
they
well,
will-
see,
I didn't even know that was, I
changes.
didn't realize that was on there.
That changes that. Okay, all right. So I'm just trying to figure out what they're gonna do with that little strip and all that and the
Yeah,
setbacks.
that's-
There's not room in there to do like
No.
some kind of lane. Yeah, there's not really that much room. When you're out there, it's not that big.
Okay.
Any other questions for Larry?
So again, this is a waiver, and so the waivers are new to me. We didn't have waivers other places I've been. So this is where you make a decision. This isn't a recommendation to the Board of Commissioners. So you're actually approving. So I did prepare findings of fact for this particular petition.
Is the petitioner here? Would the petitioner like to speak on this?
Nothing to say, Rover, just trying to, daughter got married.
Yeah.
We want that house, we want that property separate from the farm, which is mine. My son lives in the west house, we live in the east house.
So who's your homestead property?
Yeah, we're
Come down.
You want to come down here to the microphone so we can have that on record? State your name and address.
This is what you like to do, isn't it?
You just want to get back to showing the form.
Yeah, I'm gonna get back to showing home.
Yeah, don't we all?
Richard C. Evans, or also known as Buck Evans. Again, the property's, just my last kid got married. She's moving in my grandfather's house, family homestead, 150 years. We don't plan on going anywhere. If I could get my third kid there to live at the back of the farm, we'd put up a fence and have a compound, but I don't know if she will or not. My son, as I said, son lives in the west house, just got out of the Marines. So we're all right there, and that's how we're gonna keep it. You guys got any questions?
Any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, well, I would entertain a motion. Oh, is there anybody else from the public that has any interest in speaking on this? I don't see any.
Mr. Vice President, I'd like to make a motion on petition 22W005. I'd like to make a favorable recommendation to the commissioners based on the finding of facts.
So we don't have to make the recommendation, we're actually making the
Final
decision.
authority on waiver request.
Okay. I'll make a recommendation to approve petition 22W-005 based on the finding of facts.
I'll second that one.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. Motion passes. Thank you. Larry, back to you.
Okay. So Stacy's gonna tell them what they need to do next as far as the waiver. The next thing on the agenda is the proposed fee schedule. And
We did, you found a little error
Stacy?
here.
Yeah.
On the agenda,
Yes.
number 3 says, did I make the right recommendation? Those
Yeah.
are two different numbers.
You said 005, but it's on the agenda, it says 010.
Yeah.
Right,
You was
so which
right.
one is it?
The 05 with that. This was in the
I
packet.
said 005, but on the agenda, it says 010.
uh, 005.
This was that, 'cause that's on the packet.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
That's what was in the email. 005, so.
We're gonna go with that.
Yep.
Okay, sorry. We're good.
Thank you.
So at the last meeting, I briefed you on the proposed fee schedule and the process, and this was advertised as a public hearing and the purpose of today's meeting would be for you to forward this to the commissioners with a recommendation of approval, not approval, or neutral, based on the code, section 1.13, which provides for text amendments to the zoning ordinance, which this would be. So basically, all the information was provided in your handouts. The process that, when I started about a month ago, Rachel had been in the process of working with the staff, and I think she had come to you previously with a proposed fee schedule, and she said, this is, it's kind of based on Pendleton's fee schedule, which I didn't have any problem with. I didn't, so I took that, talked about it with staff. We came up with kind of a philosophy, or whatever you want to call it, to upgrade this according to the CPI. So we weren't just plugging in numbers, like say, let's make this, I didn't have any basis to make numbers 500, 800, whatever. And I didn't think it was right to just use Pendleton's numbers because of the difference in the county. So we thought we'd use the CPI and basically bring it to today's level of inflation from 2009, which is when the last fee schedule was adopted. That's 1.35. So generally, we went through and upgraded everything by about 1.35%. There are certain things, like for example, the rezone. Originally, that was $500 plus $90 an acre. Apparently, I don't know the fact, somebody came in and there was going to be about a $35,000 charge for them to do their rezone. So staff, before I came, staff had concluded that really wasn't necessary, so we've taken off the per acre piece on that. That's probably the major adjustment like that that's been made. Essentially, in 2021, we had about $120,000 in revenues from fees, permits, and fines. That would be increased to about $165,000 with this increase. I think it's reasonable, it's rational. We also have included, if you go to the third page of this table where I have all the fees and schedules, and I'm not going to go down all the different numbers unless you have specific questions. But one of the things that I encountered when I first started here was we didn't really have in my opinion, good way for the director to assess fines. I mean, it's very hard for me to determine whether to fine somebody $50 or $200 or $1,000. I'm not a judge. I'm not, so I've proposed a process where we will issue a notice of violation with no fine or fee if they resolve it within 30 days. Then if there is no progress, then we would issue a notice of penalty with a $50 fine. They would again have 30 days to deal with that. And then we would issue a second citation for $100. Again, 30 days. If they don't deal with that, then at the director's discretion, we would fine up to $2,000 a day in accordance with the Madison County zoning code, or we could bring them back to the Board of Zoning Appeals for the Board of Zoning Appeals to help educate the situation. If that doesn't work, then we would defer it to the county attorney and it would go to court. Hopefully that would be the last case. So that's kind of the way this process is set up.
How does those zoning violation compare to the other districts you've worked at?
In terms of,
$50 or $100 fine, that looks a little low to me, but
That's what I'm
I'm just
about to
curious.
say.
this is what they did, this is what they did in Hancock County. And my experience, number one, most of the time, many times people don't pay the fines. They don't do anything until it comes to the last minute. So it really doesn't matter if it's 50 or 100 or whatever. But to me, it's reasonable. And some people do come in and pay them, because most of the people that I've experienced that have these situations generally also have other life problems or life issues. Money sometimes is one of them. So some people will pay $50 to try and keep up and keep with us. We try to work with them, but mainly it just gets their attention. Is that the right number? 50 and 100 is what they use in Hancock. And that's where I got this. So we could make it higher. I don't know that it would make much difference one way or another. I just kind of think that a lot of times the people that are in these situations are struggling in many ways. And if you come in and say, well, I'm going to fine you $500 if you don't get this fixed, and then you send them they can't, most of the time they can't pay it. So you're just spinning your wheels. These are at least reasonable, that they can maybe, hey, I could pay that and I got 30 more days to get this stuff cleaned up. So to me, I think it's a good number. Yes, sir.
Wouldn't it also be reasonable to levy a tax levy on their property taxes on people who don't pay the $100? I mean, even though, you just can't make a public comment that we're going to be understanding of people's problems, but if they, like this gentleman here, went into business without even pursuing the county, didn't think he needed a permit, well, it's hard to believe that in 2022 that a person would think that you could go into business without getting some sort of a permit. And so, I just think that maybe it might be better to put a tax levy on, at least to cover the penalties, so that it adds a little more teeth to the issue. Who arbitrarily makes the decision whether people can afford it or they can't?
Well, that's a good question. I'm just trying to react to the question I got. As far as the tax, I'll defer to Jeff on that.
The commission or the planning director could authorize that any fines could be reduced to judgment, and then the judgment becomes a lien on the tax duplicate of the property. So that is absolutely is a possibility, particularly in the more egregious cases where the fines start getting up into 4 figures or more.
Right.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. I have another question too, because I'm glad you made that statement. We got a lot of areas within our county that we need to clean up, right? So I think by just putting these $50, $100 fines, sometimes people are going to take it not too serious, right? So I think if we do go a little more aggressive on the fine amount to get people's attention, as well as place judgments on properties, I think that will show them that we are more serious about what we're talking about, because we have a lot of residents that are being impacted by negligence from other people, right? So and I hate to say this, but sometimes if you can't afford a property, get rid of it, because all you're doing is hurting the people around you. So I think we should increase that amount. I think that probably should be a discussion that on the first citation and the second citation, but we should increase the amounts.
If we would do that tax levy, like you said, does that need to be in the fee schedule?
No.
We just do that on a per case basis. That's what
That could be the planning director's discretion, or the planning commission could direct it through a vote.
So if we would change that $50 to 100 and the 100 to 500, and then we could tax levy after we could get that money back through tax levy.
Theoretically, it may be a while, but
Yeah.
yes.
But it's something better than nothing, right?
But in theory, we're going to wait till after the third
Probably, because,
Right.
Put a little
No,
healthier
I
fine
wouldn't,
on
I
there.
wouldn't tax levy anything till you get to the 5. That's why I said make that 100.
Yeah.
For $100.
Yeah.
Make that 100 to a 500 and then,
Then you're good.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's fine with me. I mean, again, that's still 550 or 100 or 500, it still gets us the process, which is really ending the cycle of sending penalties with
Right.
citations that aren't paid,
Yep.
and getting it to the BZA, and then we kind of come to a resolution. So, and as far as I don't have any problem with the numbers.
Okay. So are we saying $100 for the first citation and $500 for the second?
Mhm.
Yep.
I think everybody's in agreement with that.
And I would also like, and I didn't really see this till we had this discussion. I said it in my presentation that I think the 30 days should go with the first citation and the second citation. I have it with the notice of violation, and I'm just handwriting that in. I don't know if we can do that.
Sure, and that's what the public hearing is for, is,
So 30 days and then 60 days, you're saying?
Well, it's basically the notice of violation, then it's 30 days,
Yeah.
and then the notice of penalty first citation 30 days, then notice of penalty second citation 30 days, and then after that it would go to the Board of Zoning Appeals.
Right.
So, and that 30s is if they pay or if they don't pay. It's either way, right?
Either way,
Okay.
doesn't matter.
So 30, 60, 90, so.
Yeah.
Now, if they do get a notice of citation and they don't pay, does that accrue interest on unpaid?
I have never seen any place that did that.
not until it's reduced to judgment, then it would accrue at 8%.
Okay, when it's a judgment in the courts, right?
And the other thing is, often in other places I've been, the BZA, when they've dealt with this, will sometimes waive the fees. They'll say, you get this done, we'll waive the fees. And so if they get it done, the fees are waived.
Is there something we could put, cause I hate for it to be that nice, I hate to say it, be that nice person that always get ran over, right? So let's say we get to the 30, 60, now we're at the 90-day mark, which is $500, right? And all of a sudden now they want to wake up and do the job. I don't want to waive the fees after you do the job.
I wouldn't waive the fees unless the Board of Zoning Appeals did it.
Yeah.
I mean,
The person always has the right to appeal to the Board of Zoning Appeals, but anything that Larry has
Yeah.
staff do.
Okay.
yeah, anything I say can be appealed.
All right.
Yeah. Take care of it.
BCA don't get off, don't let them off.
Okay.
All right.
So the final thing I wanted to point out, and I reviewed this with Jeff, is the notes to the table. The fee and fine schedule is effective upon date of adoption, and again, that's upon date of adoption by the commissioners. And then I've got in here footnote number 2, fee and fine schedule will be reviewed every 5 years and can be updated administratively up to the change in CPI, which means we wouldn't have to go through a public hearing process. Administratively, we could do this, I would think we would want to do this in front of the Plan Commission and say, hey, we've got, it's 5 years, we think it's time to update the fee schedule. I reviewed the 5-year concept with Jeff, he was okay with that. So I just wanted to point that out, that would become part of the code if this is adopted. And this would obviously have to go through the commissioners too, so.
Because it's been 2009 since the last adoption.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And this time flies and directors come and go and.
Yeah.
So this way, if I'm here, I've got this, and if somebody else is here, they've got this. And
Right.
Well, I'll be happy to say I put a motion on the floor to accept the new proposed fee schedule.
We gotta,
We're making a recommendation to the commission.
Make a recommendation to the commissioners
with a favorable,
with the amendments that we made in here.
yeah.
So I make a favorable recommendation to the commissioners with the amendments that we made.
second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. Motion passes.
All right.
All right. That's everything on the agenda, so I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Any questions? Out in public?
Yes. I see a hand in the audience.
Got a question real quick?
Okay, come up here to the microphone.
Good morning, Greg Valentine. I live at 5297 South 800 West. Speak to you as a Green Township trustee for a minute. I had 14 weed letters I sent out this year, abandoned properties mostly. I got about 10 of them to clean up. I've mowed a couple, 3, but I've got one that I sent Liz a request on, see if you folks had any money you could help me with this. So this guy is on Old Fort Road. That's the last road before you get into Fortville on 13. It's about 20, 25 homes in there. So this one purchased in 2009 by Bucklew Properties, and they're out of Fishers. They've not done anything with it except let weeds grow. So I've sprayed it a couple times with a Roundup, but it's 2 acres. There's an old double wide sitting on there. And so when I sent the second certified mail to him this summer, he brought an old travel trailer in there and parked it and hooked it up to the existing Falkirk Regional Waste Sewer. Can't do that with the travel trailer. So our people went out there from Falkirk and told him to unhook it. So now there's 2 abandoned trailers sitting out there. This house was built in '73, and it is in shambles. The whole place is a mess. I know you don't have the funds to clean it up, but my question today is, he's telling me, and this is in class 540, Liz is already gone, but he says, being a conservation residential, if he tears that old house down, he's got to build a new one within 2 years. I just don't remember that from the stuff you folks do. Do you know, Jeff, on that, if it's in a CR or Larry?
Well, I'm looking at it right now.
Okay.
I don't know that.
Now, I don't remember what is, oh, there she is. What's class 540, do you remember?
No, I've never heard of it.
So if it was conservation residential, it'd say it on the property record card at the top.
Well, now, the property record cards, their information at the assessor's office.
I know.
Is not anything to do with our ordinance.
I realize. So you got my letter, probably. I sent you 2. One of them I got cleaned up. It looks like a park now.
Mr. Bucklew did call in.
Well, good.
And, yeah, and he said he's starting to clean that up. He's been having trouble evidently with the neighbors complaining.
Well, you can't
the
blame
neighbors
them.
Threatening him and bringing out guns. And,
I don't know about that.
yeah, I don't know either. That's just what he said. He originally.
He needs to call the sheriff on that one, not you.
Yeah, well, I think he did, but he originally was having a landscape business there, and his wife, it was going to be a hobby thing. He came through, the board was
He
approved.
did come to the board to approve that in '09 when he bought it?
Yes.
Okay.
And then she got cancer, so everything stopped, and I believe that she recovered. I think she's in
He told me
remission
that.
now. But I told him he just left everything. I mean, all the racks for all the
Racks, greenhouses,
landscaping,
shelving. It looks like
It did.
you walked away from Gar's nursery.
Yeah, I mean, it does. And he did, I said, we got to get it going here.
So he did promise me he'd mow, and it looks like he took a 20-inch mower and mowed a path to the back end and turned around and came back.
And I told
Little
him.
Deb, I've got a bush hog on my skid steer, and I told him I'd come over and mow it, but he didn't like my
There's so
price.
much in the yard, I'd be afraid too.
Well, I could mow a bigger path. But you can't blame the neighbors. They've got weeds 10 feet high, and it smells. And the house, there's only one house to the east, and that's the end of the road. And it's a double wide that's been empty for a while. The one next to it, there's a lady lives there. It's an old single wide trailer. So is that true in CR? If he tears that house down, he's got to build a new one in 2 years?
No, I've never heard anything like that.
No. Oh, I'll tell him that. Go ahead and he's paying taxes on like $28,000
Right, I mean,
house.
it's the most bizarre situation.
It's worse than
He's
Green
just
Township right now.
He's
I just
out
want
there,
you to
but
hear.
I told him too, if he
So he's
can't-
paying property
he
on
can't-
an improvement of $28,000 and not.
Well, more than that, but the home, the double
home,
wide,
the
you wouldn't give
improvement.
$100 for it, but
Right.
it's, and it was an above ground pool. He's tore that out. It's just a mess.
And I told him that you can't pull in a camper and live in a camper, so.
Well, that's what he's been doing.
Yeah. Well, he's not living there.
Somebody
I think
is.
he lives in Guy's
Yeah,
farm.
he-
He's
in the high rent district. So, don't see it as a issue where he has to build within 2 years.
Well, no, but I do see it as you're basically, there's a problem that we need to address.
Yeah, and I did just talk to him last
We
night.
will,
Yeah, he said he.
we'll take this, we don't like go out and hunt property problems.
No, we always wait for
Staff to
the
do that. Although we do, speaking of this, like, I come down here from State Road 9, so I drive by the old Ivy Tech place every day. And so, I know that we don't do weeds and grass, so I called the Richland trustee and he said, Larry, I just drove by there too, and I thought I gotta do something about that. So, I think cooperatively, we're gonna try and work with the trustees to handle these situations. This sounds like one that we don't handle weeds and grass, but we do handle trailers that are parked improperly and all that kind of stuff, so we can look into this.
Yeah,
There's
and
a
Tom's been out there as well.
Okay.
Talking to him.
Is that Tom? Oh.
No, our inspector.
Well, there's an old construction trailer been sitting there for 5 years with the license plate on it that's expired, and then he put this little 28-foot RV right in front of it. So, no, I knew it wasn't him
We'll
lived there.
investigate the situation.
Yeah, and in 20 and 21, we stopped when COVID came.
Nice.
I was told violations are halted.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they kept doing them, but
See
we
what you
stopped.
can do. If you took a big dozer in there and piled it all up in the back, it'd look better than it does now.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll look at it.
Thank you.
Okay.
You're welcome.
I do
Okay.
have one thing. You were correct. It is 005. That was my mistake. I put 010. So you were correct. Thank you. Just wanted to know.
All right.
Motion to adjourn?
We have a motion?
second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.